In light of recent events, I believe many Americans are rethinking the whole asylum immigrant situation. I, myself, consider it a crisis. Having open borders is so obviously dangerous, it's not even funny. It's shocking that American citizens have to even have this conversation with our own government. I, personally, feel that almost everything that happens in America is centered around African Americans, even if no one says it is. Think Civil War. How many of you were taught that the Civil War was about slavery? I wasn't. I felt deep down that it was, but I was told by my teacher that it wasn't about slavery. Then, in my 30s, I watched a documentary and learned that the entire war was about slavery. As an adult, I have began looking at America and our government with a more critical eye, with my third eye open. Listening to my inner knowing and not blindly following what's right in front me. Smoke and mirrors, they say. Smoke and mirrors. And that's one thing our government and white supremacy are really good at, are smoke and mirrors. Look at this over here, while we bamboozle you over there. The almost 2-week manhunt of Danilo Cavalcante made white people sit back and rethink their racism. A lot of immigration-related incidents is making white people rethink how important is their effort to drown out African American voices and water down the black vote. Cavalcade was loose and running amok in rural Pennsylvania, aka white folk country, terrorizing them as he stole a hoodie, cap, boots and a rifle for himself, among other things. He claimed that he was living off watermelon. Who knows where he got that from? I remember white people crying about immigrant children at the border in cages while neglecting to concern themselves with African American children in cages. Fix your problems at home first, they say. But that's mighty hard to do when your adopted relatives want to get rid of you. Now, Americans seem to agree on one thing. The United States government are prioritizing migrants' needs over American citizens' needs. New York City is often seen as the flagship city of the United States. It is one of the most iconic cities in the world, attracting visitors from all over the country and world. Unfortunately, New York City has rapidly declined within the last 5 to 10 years. From spikes in violent crime to a ridiculously high cost of living that makes it nearly impossible to find an affordable home in which to raise a family, New York City has quickly become a dilapidated shell of its former self. Today, New York is facing a massive illegal immigration crisis. Hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants have flooded the streets of New York City, resulting in increased crime and disorder. One would think that elected officials would recognize this crisis, prioritize citizens over illegal aliens, and remove criminal migrants from the city and, hopefully, the country. Unfortunately, that is far from the case. Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, saw the onset of the migration crisis as a political opportunity to show his commitment to current left-wing values. He immediately suggested that, instead of removing these migrants from the city's streets, citizens of New York City should house these illegal migrants in their own homes. Eric Adams also stated that he would provide citizens with a financial reward if they choose to house these migrants. If this plan were to be implemented, New York City would be spending large amounts of money on an operation that violates the most fundamental aspect of a nation, that we have clearly defined borders and a rule of law that ensures individuals within our borders abide by the laws of our nation. The atrocious response to this tragic illegal migrant situation in New York City is certainly a major aspect of this crisis, but it's also important to recognize just how the city got itself into this catastrophic situation. To begin, mass illegal immigration has soared due to President Biden's total incompetence in handling the southern border crisis. This has led to immense chaos in cities that are left to deal with the consequences of this border policy, such as border cities like El Paso and Brownsville. Elected officials of these border states have consistently called upon President Biden to secure the border, but President Biden has blatantly ignored these concerns, and Democratic officials such as Mayor Eric Adams have consistently supported illegal immigration and open borders. Most important, however, is the fact that New York City is a self-described sanctuary city, meaning that New York City intentionally invites illegal immigrants to live in their city and refuses to work with federal officials to deport criminal migrants. This means that, for years, New York City elected officials have invited the chaos that they are currently dealing with, and when governors of border states send criminal migrants to places like New York City, Democrats and elected officials who complain should promptly recognize that they, up until that point, consistently stated that they would welcome these criminals. Though Ann Arbor has not officially declared itself as a sanctuary city, the city council has passed ordinances instructing the police to no longer cooperate with the law by ignoring the immigration status of those they apprehend. This comes as Ann Arbor's Washtenaw County continues to see an increase in criminal migrants. In fact, Washtenaw County has gone so far as to use taxpayer dollars to state that all migrants, legal or illegal, are welcome in the county, effectively declaring themselves a sanctuary county. These actions make it very clear that Ann Arbor and Washtenaw County are following the exact same template as New York City, and coupled with the rise in criminal migrants in the county, this is incredibly concerning. Mass migration, both legal and illegal, is completely out of control in the United States. The results have been catastrophic for cities that have chosen to support these sanctuary policies, and Ann Arbor looks to be heading down that path. It is crucial that we increase pressure on our elected officials to remove these criminal migrants from Ann Arbor before we experience similar catastrophes like what's occurring in New York City. Now in an about-face, after dealing with a great increase of migrant crime by illegal immigrants and an overload on America's resources where these illegal immigrants tend to be dumped, Eric Adams is now blaming Biden for not supporting New York enough during their immigrant crisis. Mayor Eric Adams warned that the raging migrant crisis will destroy New York City and tore into President Biden for ignoring his pleas for help, saying the White House has given no support for the thousands of asylum seekers arriving each month. Biden administration skewers NYC for having no exit strategy for migrants. Do something. Hochul rips Biden for inaction on migrant work permits. Biden's border bungling is another echo of a failed president. I'm gonna tell you something, New Yorkers, never in my life have I had a problem that I didn't see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this, Adams said at a town hall on the Upper West Side Wednesday night. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. His owner took aim at Biden for not stepping in with federal assistance as the city has received more than 110,000 migrants in the past year. Month after month I stood up and said this is gonna come to a neighborhood near you. Well, we're here, we're getting no support on this national crisis, and we're receiving no support, Adams said. Adams also blasted Texas Governor Greg Abbott as a madman for busing illegal border crossers to New York and other liberal cities. Speaking at a town hall Wednesday night, Adams said the migrant crisis will destroy New York City as he doesn't see an ending. In his opening remarks, his owner boasted about his administration's accomplishments in the 20 months since he took office. Christopher Sadovsky, go item for item on what Eric Adams ran for as a candidate and look at what we accomplished in 20 months. We turned this city around in 20 months, and then what happened? Adams said. Started with a madman down in Texas who decided he wanted to bus people up to New York City. The first migrant-filled bus from Texas arrived at Midtown's Port Authority on August 5, 2022, and thousands more migrants have shown up in the rest of the 5 boroughs in the following months. A large majority of New Yorkers share the mayor's feelings on the migrant crisis, as 82% say it is a serious problem, while 58% want to stop the flow from the southern border. Steve White for NY Post Texas has sent over 13,000 migrants to New York, according to data shared by Abbott earlier this week. 110,000 migrants we have to feed, clothe, house, educate the children, wash their laundry sheets, give them everything they need, healthcare, Adams said. Texas has sent over 13,000 migrants to New York, according to data shared by Abbott earlier this week. The mayor said the Big Apple receives around 10,000 migrants a month, at first from Venezuela, but then Ecuadorian nationals and Russian-speaking individuals came up from Mexico as time went on. Christopher Sadovsky Staten Islanders attend an anti-migrant rally outside the former St. John Villa Academy, which has been turned into a migrant housing center. Even immigrants don't want illegal immigrants in America. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe that made their minds up that they're gonna come through the southern border and coming to New York City, Adams added. The financial cost alone has reverberated throughout the city as the government is spending millions to house the migrants. The Department of Homeless Services has given $35 million to 2 NYC hotels to house migrants. The financial cost alone has reverberated throughout the city as the government is spending millions to house the migrants. Everyone is saying it is New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We have a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted, all of us, Adams said. All of us are going to be impacted by this. I said it last year when we had 15,000 and I'm telling you now with 110,000. The city we knew, we're about to lose, and we are all in this together, all of us, he added. A large majority of New Yorkers share the lawmakers' feelings on the crisis as 82% say it is a serious problem for the city while 58% want to stop the flow from the southern border.
How can you come into a community and dump people in our community like this? This is not fair. The city's pressing migrant crisis in the spotlight now more than ever, and Southside residents are fired up over plans to put up tents.
Brown and Scott community members want to make their voices heard on this subject, and tonight many weren't able to. On the table is a proposal from Mayor Brandon Johnson that would place hundreds of migrants in makeshift camps in a former Jewel parking lot. At Sheldon Heights Church of Christ, an open dialogue on the migrant crisis hosted by Alderman Ronnie Mosley was packed inside and out.
First of all, they definitely chose this venue for a reason. They chose a small venue so that they could discourage the community from being able to show up.
With fall and winter fast approaching, Mayor Brandon Johnson is looking to move migrants from police stations into what the city is calling winterized base camp. It's coming with pushback, many calling on the city's leaders to focus on the needs of taxpayers.
We are the residents of this community, and we demand that they do not put these people here. They're not even following the rules in the police station. What makes us think that they're going to follow the rules here?
According to a recent Siena College survey, Representative Elise Stefanik, RNY, on Wednesday also ripped the Biden administration for the dangerous impact that its border policies are having on the entire Empire State. Joe Biden's far-left open border policies have caused our northern border to see an unprecedented and historic surge in illegal immigration, and Kathy Hochul's sanctuary state policies have further incentivized this dangerous surge, Stefanik said. Now we have reports of murder and rapes committed by illegal immigrants in upstate New York. Enough is enough. It is time for Joe Biden to secure our southern and northern border, and the quickest way to do that is for Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, DNY, to pass and Biden to sign into law. House Republicans Secure the Border Act, which is the strongest border security bill in history and would put an end to the Biden border crisis. I, personally, blame Americans because who voted for these idiots to destroy our country. I pray that one day soon, we learn how to use our vote as our voice to empower, not enable and encourage, our own demise. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
Environmental disasters. We see so many stories, heartbreaking stories, manifest itself here.
Walk freely in this country. How about that? You're blocking traffic. You're blocking traffic. Excuse me, you're impeding my way. Move.
AOC and SBI, you're a disgrace to the Hispanics. You're a disgrace to the Hispanics. You don't know represent.
Legal versus illegal petition.
I got it. Don't worry about me, bro.
Close the border. They are not true asylum petitions. They are economic migrants.
Subcommittee Ranking Member Jayapal, over 100 of our colleagues urge the administration to use all the
association is that they need people to work.
Can you make a statement on the mayor said that this was
here at the Roosevelt Hotel? We haven't seen reports of that at this specific site that we've witnessed right now, but we will continue to remain vigilant, work and receive information from grassroots communities, migrant families themselves, mutual aid organizations, and more. But right now, I think our main focus is the federal response, so that we have resources and a path to citizenship necessary, or a path to documentation necessary.
Yeah, that's what is there? What is this here then? Yeah, barriers for who? For who? For us? For the United States? No, you come down. You're complicit in destroying our city. You come down, you oath breaker. You gotta go to sleep at night. Hey, motherfucker. Motherfuckers are causing this division. Come here. It's all the right coming to you, motherfuckers. You think you're something special. How is that bringing us? How is that bringing us?
Close the border!
Look at this country.
They are illegal aliens. The
¿Sabes algo? No me hable de tu dolor.
It's a socialist. We just went through lockdowns, right? We're for legal immigration. We're not for illegal immigration. Mayor Adams and Joe Biden are the largest human traffickers in all of existence. There is a line, the logistical support that these people need to walk 7 countries over here. And they don't have to get vaccinated. They don't have to be checked for anything. While our fire department, our police, everybody was fired. Teachers lost their livelihood.